de nuestro país. Vengan, escuchen todas las historias, historias de amor, love, aventuras, adventures, and all the bad things and good things that happen to the people of our place. I'm Michael Rael, I think. Yeah, I was this morning when I looked in the mirror. Today, I think we're going to have another great day because we have Kate over there in Cisneros, and Corinne Montoya, going to talk about their lives here in Questa. I want to tell you a little something about Kate before I start with her. I walked into the Wildcats Den one time, and some lady there was having a birthday.
Tammy
¿Te acuerdas?
Yeah, that's very.
And so they asked me to sing Las Mañanitas. So I did it, and she sang with me, and I was thinking as she's singing, wow, she's got a heck of a good voice. So I just want to compliment her on that.
Thank you.
All right, so Kate, Corinne, por favor, take over.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll start. I'm Kate Cisneros. I was born in 1947, and I was the youngest of 12 kids. My mom had 12. 2 died, one at birth and the other one with influenza in the 39s, 38s, whatever, I don't. Anyway, my mother was born in Cerro. The grandmother, I don't know, we had Indian blood through both sides. But anyway, my mom was in Cerro. She came from a rich family during the time that she was growing up. The grandparents, she was raised with the grandparents. Anyway, she was raised on the rich. But then she married my dad, which was Montoya, with our chuletas and the Montoyas didn't hit. So the grandpas disowned my mom, didn't give her property, didn't give her nothing. Anyway, but that was my mom. And then my dad, my grandpa Luis was German. He came through Germany and stuff. And then Grandma Luz was an Indian from the Four Corners. She was Indian. That was through my dad's side. Anyway, that's how we came along. But mother had 10 kids. Then when I was 8 years old, Diana, which is back there, Corinne, mother raised 7 grandkids. But before that, she had 2 nephews of my dad that lived with us, Otaviano and Joe Montoya. So after even dad left, they stayed with us, mother. So we were very poor in material things, but food-wise, mother was an excellent cook. Nobody right now, bakeries, whatever, were not compared to my mom's. She was known for her cooking and baking, never had a cookbook. Mother never owned a cookbook. But we ate pizza, we ate fried rice, we ate everything that later on in the years, well, mother used to fix this. Mother was a very talented woman. Okay, my dad left us even before I was born. He left us, how I came along, we can't figure out that. But he was living in Las Vegas, New Mexico at that time. So he had 3 kids older than, myself, Inez, and Lupi. But anyway, he had problems. So, yeah. But then, all together with Dad's family and ours, we were 21. Dad continued having kids on Alwinizer and never supported nobody. So, and we have gone together as the others, and we all get along good and stuff. So anyway, mother had a rough life by herself. Helen, Dan's mom, Minora, Ernest was the oldest, then Minora, then Helen, and Paco. Okay, at the age of 12, 13, my aunts through my dad's side, their mom was already separated. They kidnapped Paco and took her. Mother didn't know where she was for maybe 5 years or so. She knew she was with my dad, but where she was living, we never knew. So, wow. Yeah. So Paco went through hardships with my dad. So thank God we stayed with Mom. But anyway, so then Ernest was 16 when he left to work at the railroad tracks in Wyoming, which was Corinne's dad. So he used to try to help us because no welfare, no nothing. Mother, we lived out of just the garden, and we had a few cows when I was young, and it was just Mother made use of everything. We had a garden from here to where, because Mother would can and can and can. So we lived out of the garden, we always had pigs and chickens. But Mother would make gardens, big gardens. And then we had a field with wheat. So when I was young, Mother they used to take the wheat to San Luis to have it made into flour. Anyway, those were times that I remember a little bit, not that much, but then we had cows. We never ate our beef because those cows were to pay at Bill Cater's store here where Jeannie lives, Jeannie Masters. They had a grocery store there.
Yeah.
So Mother, at the end of the fall, whatever, would trade the beef, the cow for our bill, our little groceries that we got there. Right. So that's how she paid. And then when Ernest went to work in Wyoming, well, he started providing money, sending money to Bill Cater so we could have a small bill. And then later on, Bill, I don't know, but Carlos Martinez opened the grocery store there in Cerro. That's where they had the black and white shoes, and so that's where we used to dress from. They had a little bit of clothes. Everybody in Cerro had black and white shoes. But anyway, Mother used to pay them with our cows. Finally, we ran out of cows, but we always continued with pigs, with our pork. And then my Tío Samuel Young and Lupe, my Tío Samuel used to give us the old sheep for us mutton. So Mother used to kill those, and there was no refrigerators, no nothing. Cannon. I remember that much meat and that much fat. Yeah, the lamb, because that was the only way she could preserve it. And then she learned how to cure hams, sausage, and bacon. They had a little one buys just a building for the winter, and Mother we had cured bacon, ham, and sausage, because Mother, that's how advanced she was on everything. She wasn't, like I say, never a cookbook. How did she come up with these? But anyway, we always had ham, bacon, and sausage. I mean, enough. And then chickens. The old chickens, she used to can them to make chicken dumplings. We had a beautiful life. Mother canned and baked. Okay, 1941, my dad was already gone. She was the lady that got the running water from the community well to the houses.
Wow.
Yeah, she got the water going to. She went with the commissioner. Then Melesio Quintana got the one for Lower Cerro. But that's how much Mother, as many that we were and as poor, she just had time to help others. We always had company. There was always coffee, pies. Mother, as poor as we was, it was a community center. Mother was just there. Christmas, the empanaditas, the tamales, the chicharrones, and, it was like a lot. But that was my mom's work, out of my mom's work. And then, what else, Rita?
Why don't you start?
Yeah.
Me? Okay, I'm Corinne Montoya. This is my aunt. She's the baby of the whole clan. And my dad, the oldest of the clan, and I'm the oldest of my dad's clan. So I came to live with Grandma when I was 4 years old, and my brother was 2.5. So by the time I came, Grandmother already had Dora, Diane, and Philip.
Yeah.
So Dora was 8, Philip was what?
7.
5. 5, and then Dan was already there.
Yeah.
So she was 4. That year we were going to turn 5. So this has to have been in 1960. I believe it was in January when we came from
Yes.
Arizona. I was living with my dad in Douglas, Arizona, and we came by bus, the Greyhound bus, and we stopped at the Sanchez's
Yes,
that's where the
Jesus.
bus, and that's the first time my brother and I had ever seen snow. We didn't even know what snow was. But it was exciting for us anyway. When they took us to Grandma, everybody there started crying and they started talking, and they all talked a language my brother and I didn't know. Our first language was English. Everybody there talked Spanish. We didn't even know the word agua, which is the simplest word kids learn. We didn't learn that. My brother and I were just so quiet, just observing everything. We didn't know what was going on. The only person we knew was Tia Paco, because she's the one that brought us, her sister, from Arizona to New Mexico. She's the only one we knew, and her daughter, Joyce. So we were there, and we were there. The house was already full. There was already a full house. So didn't know that that's where we were going to live, right? But when we got there, everybody was so nice. They hugged us, they kissed us, we ate and everything. My brother and I just felt that that was a safe place, because we didn't come from a very safe place. But when we came to Grandma's, that was a safe place. So we were there. So by that time, Grandmother already had indoor plumbing, a bathroom. We had gas heating. There was no more wood stoves at Grandma's. It was gas heating. And there was electricity in the dining room and the kitchen and I believe the bathroom. So Grandmother saw how they installed the electricity. So she installed the electricity to the rest of the house. She observed them. She knew what they needed, to. So she did the installation of the rest of the electricity in the house. So Grandmother was she was a lady before her time. She was very wise and very mature and very wise, for having so many kids and then having 7 of us grandchildren. 5 of us grew up together. 5 grandkids from the ages of 8 to 2.5. I mean, she had her hands full, plus her teenage daughters, so she had a diversity of having to control all of us. But anyway, she was very wise. And so what I learned from my grandmother, one of the first things I learned as 4, going to turn 5 that year, is when we sat at the table, everybody had their spot at the table. Everybody sat there, no radio, no record players. We didn't have a TV, so we had the radio and the record player. But we'd sit at the table, and each of us had our cutlery. We had our knife, our spoon, and our fork. Even as 4 years old we all had to have our utensils. And it was the fork, the knife, and you couldn't burp at the table.
Let me interrupt real quick. Tell us your grandmother's name.
Oh, my grandma, that's right. Grandma's name was Agripina Montoya.
Yeah.
And my dad, Filimon Montoya.
Filimon Montoya.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry about that. She
Yeah.
was Archuleta. Her maiden name was Archuleta. Wow. So she was, and then, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So we sat at the table. That was the first time we had all our, we learned. We all learned. We couldn't blow our nose at the table. We couldn't burp at the table. It was all as a family. You couldn't come and eat an hour later or 15 minutes later. Everybody had to sit at the same time. Wow. And this was for breakfast, lunch, supper. We never said dinner. It was supper. Yeah. So we did all that. Grandmother's house, there was so many of us. There was no clutter. There was no clutter at Grandma's. Now you hear about the minimalists. The minimalists, they hardly have. That's how we were raised, minimalist. We just had what we needed and what we could use. There was no clutter. We came from school, even as kids before going to school, we knew where our shoes went, our books went, our coats went. There was a place for everything. You didn't walk in and found a shoe here, a jacket there. Everything was so neat. No clutter. We learned that from the beginning. There was no clutter. The beds were made. You never went and lay down on the beds, except Grandma's, because she'd have to take a nap.
Yeah.
Another question before you go. What was your grandma's blood?
What do you mean?
She was an Archuleta.
Uh-huh.
Was she Indian? Was she Mexicana?
Grandma Pana what?
Spanish.
Spanish.
She was Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered because the discipline that she caught.
Yes.
That's why I had to ask that question.
Yes. Grandma was more Spanish. Grandpa Filimon there was more Indian and Mexican blood mixed in that side of the
That's right.
But no.
But yeah, my
Okay.
grandma was more Spanish.
Mother was very strict. You respected the table. You know, for being a one parent, we had manners. We had the thank you. We had the blessings, and you know, it was just. Now that we're older, we realize how good a woman at that age was.
She was very smart and very bright. It's my turn.
Yeah. Okay, like an
My turn.
And then, wait a minute. She didn't even want to come to do
Well,
this.
they didn't ask me a second time. So anyway, that's what we learned from grandma. So she knew how, like she said, no cookbooks, no measuring spoons, no measuring cups. She'd sit at the table and she'd tell me, go bake some cookies. Okay. Do a spoonful, a big spoon of lard, a big cup of sugar, a spoon of this, but there was no measuring spoons. But whatever spoons there was, I was using those, you know, and that's how we make our cookies. So she taught for me. I learned how to cook. I learned how to can. I learned how to work in a garden. I learned how to work outside. When it came to chores, my dad's here, my cousin's here. Chores weren't a punishment for us. It was, you did your chores, and as soon as you got done with your chores, you could go outside and play all day and late into the night. And we were privileged to have a street light because we lived next to a public school. So the school had a street light, so we could play outside till 10:30, and Grandma would have to yell at us to come in because we weren't kids that stayed in the house. We were outside the whole time, you know. So when it came to time to working in the gardens, and she had like a quarter of an acre of a garden or maybe more. When you have 30 rows of corn and 30 rows of peas, you know, we had to go out there and hoe the garden and irrigate it. And Dad's here. She'd say, let's get up early in the morning. She was very nice about telling us what to do. To get up early in the morning before the sun rose too high so we could hoe the garden and irrigate the garden. But as soon as we got done with our chores, we could play all day. But we knew what time breakfast was. We knew what time lunch was. We knew what time supper was. Come in and eat and then go. But when she'd tell us, nowadays you tell the kids, go work on the yard. Get the lawnmower and work on the yard, right? She'd tell us to go work on the yard. We'd each have a bucket or a coffee can, and the house sat on an acre. And within that acre, there was the house, the chicken coop, and the pig pen. So from the road all the way to the ditch, which is the first ditch, we had to clean that yard. That was cleaning the yard. We had to pick every broken glass, every piece of paper, every weed that wasn't in its right spot, you know, we had to, and we'd clean that whole yard. Wow. That was cleaning the yard. That's what we had to do. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. Dan and I, my cousin sitting back there, our job was to, she had a very antique old table with these legs on it, and it was just huge. Our job was to dust it, polish it, and we had that old English liquid.
Yeah.
We'd clean that and our hands would be a mess and everything, but that was our job. Then as we got older, Dan and our job was to clean the bathroom, the restroom, the bathroom. But it wasn't just cleaning the tub, the toilet, and the sink. It was cleaning the ceiling, the walls, the floors, the toilet. It's spring cleaning, and that was every Saturday.
Wow.
Saturday was the day to clean, the day to do laundry. The day we'd be cleaning, Grandma would be fixing tortillas, frying pork chops, potatoes, chili, while we all worked. And to this day, I clean house on Thursdays. I wash and I do laundry and I clean the house on Thursdays. That day, I have to put beans to cook. I have to make tortillas. I have to do something because I have to smell food, you know, on the stove, something, because I'm cleaning. But that takes me back to my grandma. The day we cleaned, that's the day she cooked, and we all cleaned. And we had a wringer washer. A washer, you had to put it through that wringer, hang it on the clothesline, bring it in. The day you did laundry, you hung all the clothes, you brought it in, you ironed all the clothes. It wasn't piled somewhere to do it later. It was all done on that day. And then if there was dances, when I became a teenager, then we could go to dances in the evening, which was great. But we did all our chores in the morning, right? And so that was one of the neat things that Grandma taught us. But then Grandma was also, when the day for canning came, well, before she could can, they would take us to the Taos Pueblo to pick choc cherries. They would take us to Pilar to pick pears and apples. And then we'd go, where did we pick cherries? I can't even remember.
At the Pueblo.
At the Pueblo. She had a lot of friends at the Taos. Native Americans of the Taos Pueblo. So we could go and we could pick. And not just a little bucket here. There were tubs. I mean, tubs. We'd get home and have to clean them. And she had a root cellar. She had a really large root cellar. So we'd have to go get the jars and clean them. And it was a whole family thing. It really was. We all had to get together and do it. So the day we would do chili, green chili, we'd roast our own chili. Well, now they're sacks. At that time, there were bushels. Bushels or boxes.
Bushel.
We'd all be peeling chili, and the bowl would be in the middle of the table. We'd eat. I think we ate half of it. Each on the other half. And she'd be making tortillas as we were peeling the chili, doing all that. But another funny part about my grandmother was that at that time, when we turned 13, my cousin and I, the guys in the community, even in Questa, because I come from Cerro. We come from Cerro, even though now we live in Questa. At that time, the boys in high school started buying motorcycles. We used to call them rice burners, but anyway, they had motorcycles. Oh, and not one bought one, and then the rest decided to buy motorcycles. So the ones from Questa did too. So they bought motorcycles. So they'd come to Grandma's. We'd be at Grandma's. Dad and I were teenagers, and we'd be outside. So we were on the main drag in Cerro, the main street of Cerro. We're the main drag. So if you saw one motorcycle there, they're all going to come. You see one car there, they're all going to come. Well, all the motorcycles would get there, and they'd rev up their motorcycles, and they'd do donuts, and they'd do whatever. And my grandmother would get so frustrated. She'd go out there and tell them to leave. Get off my property, leave. And they wouldn't. They wouldn't leave. They'd rev it up and whatever. So then one day she got frustrated, and she said, this is it. So she gets on the phone, she dials the number. She calls the port of entry. She wanted the port of entry to come and do something. Mama, why did you call the port of entry? Because they have a uniform, they have a tag, whatever. Goes, I'm sure they're carrying a gun at the port of entry. They can come and get rid of the people here. So nowadays, me, even to this day, I have a problem or something. Who are you going to call? Not the Ghostbusters. You call the port of entry. You call the port of entry. That was my grandmother's
Anyway, there was this mote, Cresiporo's son.
Yes.
Anyway,
Tommy.
Mother went and told them to leave. And then everybody left, and he comes back and making a lot of noise on the road. Pineapple. The pineapple come out, and Mother went out. Now you can't tell me to go because I'm in government property. I get on the road.
Well, they used to tease my grandmother just so
And
she
Mother,
could-
because she would tell them bad words.
Yeah, she would say cuss them. So she had choice words for them, so she'd tell them off. So they'd rev it up just so she could go out there and tell them off. Well, one day she did that, and they weren't listening to her. So she went out there and she told them off, and she knew who their dads were, their family. So she'd tell them off too. She had choice words for them too. So then the kids, they started telling Grandma off. So then I won't mention names, but they started singing Peanut Pineapple and we don't care. Peanut Pineapple and we don't care. And that made it worse. And then they'd rev up their bikes and take off.
But it was with young kids. Even us growing up, we used to put the table to the side and put the little record player and jitterbug. Man, we used to love to dance. And the guys, you were there. We would all get together at my house. There was always jello and cake or something for them to eat before they left. But anyway, that Mom was the center of the community when we were growing up.
I have a question. Who was Pineapple?
My mom.
Is that what they call her?
Yeah, Agripina.
Oh, Agripina, so they call her Pineapple.
Pineapple,
Okay.
peanut
Yeah,
pineapple.
pineapple.
Well, since we were on the main drag, one car would be there. Let's say we had family from Colorado.
Yeah.
Anybody passing to the post office, well, of course, they're seeing a car at Grandma's that has out-of-state license. They would come. Then one would come. Then another car. All of a sudden, it would end up, we didn't get done fixing coffee. I mean, there was always all kinds of people just coming. They'd see one car, and then that was the main drag. Everybody would stop. Yeah. Even Charlene is here, one of our cousins. Her mother was always there, too.
And
They
Grandma
were always
Damiana.
Tia Damiana, they were always there.
After Mom and Dad divorced, my Tia Damiana and my mom stayed close sister-in-laws. She would go, I remember, to help her with the pigs, the chicharrones, and, and all that. But Mother was a very unique lady. She loved picking piñón. Oh man, that was Mother's blessing, favorite to go out and pick piñon. So let me tell you about the event. We went to pick piñon right about the house. And Mother said, I have special lunch, mijitas. Ya truje buen lonche. Anyway, we picked, and then she goes, come and eat, come and eat. Well, she had the little things of sardines, one for each. She forgot the can opener. So we had tortilla and water. Anyway, another thing, Mother, was that her baking, her cooking was exceptional. It was, I don't know where she learned, but.
And there was another thing that a lot of people don't know about my grandmother. In 1960, 61, the Peace Corps started.
Oh, yes.
President J.F. Kennedy started it. And Sergeant
Shriver.
Robert Shriver was the one in charge of it, who's the director of it. So they came to my grandmother's house.
Wow.
He came with two, I think my brother remembers he had two bodyguards.
Two bodyguards.
Sergeant Shriver came with two bodyguards, and they came to my grandmother's house. They checked it out. They checked her garden. They checked the cellar. They checked the house, everything. They sat and ate there. Well, the house was always full. Dan and I were in school, but my brother was there at home. So Sergeant Shriver came in and told Lloyd, that's my brother, Lloyd, that he was the only man in the house, so he had to sit at the head of the table. So he had to sit at the head of the table. Sergeant Shriver, and I think Lloyd was saying that he felt that
there was the two other guys.
David Dawson was the other guy. He said that sat, and I'll go back to David Dawson later. Well, they all sat at the table and stuff, and then they left. The two bodyguards stayed outside. Lloyd said that he doesn't remember them coming in to eat.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
But they were there, so they left. Well, lo and behold, they picked grandmother's house as a pilot house.
Wow.
For the Peace Corps. This just barely started. It was the Peace Corps. So the Peace Corps guy that came, the volunteer guy that came, his name was David P. Dawson, and he lived with us. And they were supposed to be here to help the community, not just us, but to go around and check in the gardens and see if they needed help. He had this bike, this pedal bike, and he had to put miles on it. Well, he never did. They always took him to each house, so my brother and I would get on that pedal bike. We'd put the miles on it. We'd put the miles on it for him. Well, I remember David coming in. He was a very thin guy. Well, nowadays he was perfect, thin, tall, and when he left, he wasn't that thin anymore. He wasn't that thin anymore.
I remember.
And to think that I grew up and stuff, and I never heard from that guy again.
No, but
Never heard him. I don't know where he went.
Dora, he kept in touch with Dora. He lives in California.
Okay.
When Mom died, he wanted to come, but he couldn't afford it.
I didn't know. I got married.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Shriver got there. We got home from school, and Mother has a big pot of corn, the ends and ends of the corn. And at that time, you don't care whether they're presidents or what. He was sticking his hand in the pot of corn to get corn to eat. And I was so mad. We didn't have men at the house.
There was no
We
men.
never knew that, his dirty hands, he had been in the cellar, he had been in the garden. And because Mother wouldn't have let us do that. So why was he allowed? Very sincere man. But anyway, the Peace Corps, all the other kids, Mother was teaching them how to can, and not the ladies. So Mother used to pack David lunch, but then put extra because some of the households weren't feeding the Peace Corps kids, They were like going hungry.
Yeah, I think those other volunteers left earlier than David did.
Yeah.
David
He stayed with us. David
He
was
was like our brother.
yeah, and Peace Corps was a big thing then, and Mother was the main teacher for them.
A lot of people don't know that. We were a pilot house at that time.
Yeah,
One of the first ones we were
And
a pilot.
anyway, that Mother, we used to get company from all over. We don't know who, but there was a Shrivers in Santa Fe that had a museum. And they came to the house and took pictures of my mom, and Gidget was this side, maybe 4 or 5 years old. Well, according to people, my mom's picture is in Pie Town,
New Mexico.
New Mexico. She's in there, her picture, because they closed down the museum in Santa Fe, because she was there. And then they transferred some of those, so my mom's picture is in, and that had to be, Gidget was 4 or 5 years old. No, mother was a very, very well-known lady, very creative, very. See, we weren't allowed to visit because, okay, another thing, we came from the divorced family. We were the only family in Cerro that my mom was divorced. Well, they used to bully us at school, you know, your mom this and your mom that. And each and I used to sit down and cry, you know. Why? My mom never, we all slept in the same room in the same beds, you know. Mother never went nowhere. So, but we got bullied. And yet, we had the best life growing up. Mother never kid us. She used to say, only animals get whipped to learn. You're not animals. You learn by words.
Wow.
And we did. My mom would look at us. No way that we were going to say anything.
Well, one day my brother sassed back at her, Lloyd sassed back at her, and my grandmother had bunions on her feet, so all she could wear was slippers. She couldn't wear shoes, nor tennis shoes. It was just slippers. So he sassed back to her. She took her slipper off and ran after him. Well, grandmother always wore nylons. She always wore a dress.
Yeah.
You never saw her in pants. Dress and an apron. And she ran after him and she turned the table and she slipped. And Lloyd got away. He goes, tell him that story. She didn't hit me. She didn't hit me. I got away with it. I got away with it. He always remembers that. I got away with it. I got away with it.
No, it was okay. Mother was the first one to make tamales around this area. They lived in Jerome, Arizona. My mom and dad, the older sisters and brothers, and mother learned a lot of Indian cooking. So we never had like enchiladas or burritos or all that. Mother was more Polynesian and Indian cooking.
Yeah, we didn't know what enchiladas were, or tacos, or tostadas, or salsa, or pico de gallo. When my aunt got married, Tia Paco, her sister, and they moved to Arizona, then she came from Arizona and she was going to fix us tostadas and tacos. Remember? Tostadas and tacos. So, okay, she brought all the ingredients. And at that time, corn tortillas came in a tin can.
They
You
were
never
can-
found them here in Taos. You couldn't find corn tortillas around here. So she brought the tin cans and we'd open them and she fixed us tacos and tostadas and salsa. We didn't even know what that was. We were raised in tortillas. That was our sandwich bread. We didn't call it burritos.
Yeah.
It's just our sandwich bread.
And then we had
And-
never seen corn tortillas.
Yeah, and had never seen. And then sopapillas, when the restaurants started open with Mexican food, sopapillas. What are sopapillas?
But yeah,
They were buñuelos for
they
us.
were the
They were round,
And
but
with the
not
whole-
triangles and called sopapillas. We didn't even know what that. Ours were buñuelos.
Yeah.
That was totally different. So we didn't grow up with Mexican food like that. None of it. Grandma didn't like garlic, so there was no garlic in the house. She didn't like cilantro. There was no cilantro in the house. But she'd fix meals. If she tasted something, she could go home and fix it. Whatever ingredients were on it, she'd find a way. Well, when I got married and we went out to eat, I don't know where, and I ordered stew or soup in the restaurant, whatever. And when I tasted it, I go, oh my gosh, I've tasted this before. It was curry. Curry of all things. I go, curry? Grandma she used to put in her favorite stew. Mulligan stew is what she called it. And that was what she'd put in the Mulligan stew was curry and stuff. So when I was working at the schools in Los Alamos, I was an instructional aide. And every month we'd fix a meal according to the culture that they'd celebrate that year. So around Christmas time, it was my turn to cook for the kids. So it was Hanukkah, during the Jewish holiday Hanukkah. So they said, Corinne, you're going to have to fix a meal for the kids. And I said, okay. So they say, fix latkes. I had never heard that word before. I didn't even know what latkes were. They gave me a bunch of cookbooks to look through it. Okay, so we started peeling the potatoes and we started shredding the potato. And something in me was telling me, I think I've had this dish before. I know I've had this dish before. But anyway, the kids were shredding the potatoes, soaking them, and we did them. When that first batch hit that hot oil, my memory went back. Grandma would fix those during the winter. Latkes. I didn't know that's what they were called, but they were latkes.
Okay, let me tell you another
So-
thing that most of you have never heard. Mother, the pumpkins at October, November, we used to cut them up, take off the skin, and dry them. And that was tasajos. I don't know what they are in
Charlene
English.
knows.
Charlene, you know that tasajos. So, and
On top of the ceiling of the
yes,
Uh-huh.
so they
On
could
the
dry.
roofs, on the
So
roof.
then during Holy Week, we would boil them, cut them up, fry them with onion, and that was a full meal. dried pumpkin. You know, tasajos. I don't know what tasajo, if anybody ever has had tasajos. But, you know, that was one of Mother's things. Then the pululu from the Taos Pueblo. We used to go and pick up the little plums. And Mother used to dry them. And Holy Week, that was our pupulu, our dessert.
For those of you that, what we call it, it's an Indian berry, but we call it the ciruela pululu.
Pululu.
And that was the best damn things when you had to fight that. I don't know how we survived without breaking teeth and knives and everything. Because they're hard when they're green.
Yeah.
They're like a rock. And then you see them around and they're red, a beautiful red, and they are really good when they're mature.
Yeah.
But that's the
we used to
ciruela
dry
pululu.
Pululu?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had to save those for Holy Week. You know, a lot of things that, you know, people, I don't think have ever experienced or have ever eaten because Mother was so creative.
Where did she grow up?
In Cerro.
In Cerro, yeah, she
And
was
she was
raised.
an Archuleta from a
Yes.
more wealthy background.
Well, yes, from
Were they more sophisticated in their
Yes.
knowledge of
I think they had
foods
more.
and
There were
different?
more lambs, right?
yeah, lambs.
Grandma-
They were sheep herders, but they had like lambs. Then they had I don't know how many acres there in Cerro, and then they had a long house, a big house. And there they had the sala, what they called the sala.
Dance.
And that was like a dance hall. And then the weddings, anything, community events, the grandpas would lend out their place or
Yeah, because the
whatever.
Archuletas and the Montoyas were rivals. That was bad. And then she ended up marrying a Montoya, you know. So
That's why you married a Montoya, right?
Yeah.
To
No,
bring them
she-
together.
well, I don't know if she did it on purpose or not. It happened, right? But as us growing, like she was saying, growing up, coming from the Pinas, that's how they
Yeah.
never said Agripina, they always said Pina. It wasn't a good name. When they'd say, oh, you're from Las Pinas, you know, the Pinas, it was a bad. Everybody knew if you mentioned Pinas, they knew what kind of,
Kate,
how
We were downgraded. Yes.
who was Tío Fermín?
Tio Fermin was brother to my Tio Samuel.
he was
They
a
were
Joe's dad.
brother-in-law
And then he was married to Grandma Daniela.
to Grandma. No,
No,
my
no.
Tio Fermin was married to Tia Teodorita.
Teodorita.
Yes.
And your grandma Damiana,
Sister.
Tia Damiana and Teodorita were sisters.
Tía Carmelita from
Yes, and then my dad, my Tio Miguel, Pedro, yeah. Because they were 8 of them,
Well,
I
I
think.
was Tío Samuel Young and Tío Fermín was Martinez.
The dad, they had the same mother but different dad.
So now if they call us Las Pinas, oh, we're happy to be called Las Pinas.
man.
Call me a Pina anytime. Don't call me a Montoya. Even though I'm a Montoya, just call me a Pina.
So where did that come from?
Agripina.
Yeah.
Agripina was her name.
Agripina was her
That was
name.
her name,
So
yeah.
it's like
So just
So
Pina,
They
she was
just
a-
called her Pina.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody knew her by her Agripina. just
But
Pina.
it was funny that,
Somebody has a question.
okay.
Kate, where exactly is your homestead? Is it where Vilma lives now?
Yes, there was a house there
Right in the middle.
in the middle. Anyway, it was a 3-bedroom,
3
big dining
Where the
room and
garage
that.
is now? Where the garage is now?
No, it's that whole acre area. You know
Right.
where the 3 houses are? Grandma's
That-
house was right in the middle. That's the whole acre. We had to clean the yard all the way to the ditch.
Yes,
It was
and
hilarious.
that was given down to my mom by Tio Miguel, my dad's brother. When Tio Miguel, the wife died, they separated. Well, before then, Mother had a large family, so Tio Miguel changed Mother's house from by the highway, and they moved into this house because Tio Miguel didn't have kids at that time. So Mother, we were raised in that. It was an old adobe house. But, man, did we have that enamel paint? Shiny, looked like frosting, turquoise.
Aqua.
Yeah. And then we used to use the calamite, what was it? That water. Yes.
Lime.
Yeah.
The
It was
lime.
colored, but it was colored, remember? Oh, they used to change colors in the bedrooms. Cas- cal-
Calamine.
Calamine.
That's
like
calamine.
It's
yeah.
a powder, and you would just add water and then brush it on the walls. So, if the walls got dirty with $1.50, you could paint the whole room. So, those rooms got painted up then because mother was clean. Then we had the wool mattresses. Wool. So in the spring, believe it or not, I didn't do it.
Oh, she didn't do it.
But they used to wash the wool every spring. Put it out on tarps and let it dry. Then mother would be making the mattresses. You know, that was something every year. 5, 6 mattresses. Yes. I don't remember the manta on the ceilings.
Just the vigas, the logs, and then the material.
That material, yeah. Yeah. See, mother, we were the first ones to have the running water. We were the first ones to have an inside bathroom. We were the first ones to have gas. And we were the second to have electricity because Grandpa Archuleta got it, so mother got it. You know, I don't know how we were so poor, but yet mother would save every penny, I guess. And then
We were poor. We really were. We were poor. But in the winter, Grandma was so good to us. She thought of the kids. We had a really good childhood. Dan's back there. She can tell you. In the winter, we didn't know this. All we had was canvas tennis shoes. We didn't have boots. We didn't have mittens. We didn't have nothing like that. But we'd be in school all day. So when Christmas break came, winter break came, Grandma'd say, go to the garden. And she would flood the garden while we were in school with water so you could form ice. Thick
had a
ice.
skating.
And that was our skating ring, you know. We were so shocked Grandma would do that for us, but we were poor to the fact that a lot of people in our community were poor. We were poor, but we didn't know we were poor. You know, but we didn't have boots, mittens, gloves. The socks were our gloves. Canvas tennis shoes were our all year round.
Yeah.
But when it came to food, we didn't know what it was to go to bed without food. Or just to have gravy and biscuits and gravy. We didn't. No.
Mother used to make the brown one. She used to toast white flour. And then in the winter, she would put it to boil with sugar, cinnamon, cloves, whatever. And that was to warm up before we went to bed. What is it called? Polvillo. Yeah. We used to have that all the time.
So she was like, Lloyd was remembering, my brother, he says, I'd get up to take a shower to go to school and stuff. He goes, Grandma was already frying me eggs and stuff. She was already there ready to fix breakfast for us. Didn't matter. But at night, we'd get up to go to the bathroom or whatever, and Grandma would hear that refrigerator door open. She was ready to get up to fix us something.
fix
Are you guys
something to
hungry?
eat.
Are you hungry? And she was ready. Grandma was food when it came to food. Anybody could stop at the house anytime. Well, we were on the main drag, so people are going to stop at the house. There was always cookies, cakes, pies, and if there wasn't any of that, there was jelly, her homemade jelly, and a pile of tortillas.
But remember,
so they'd stay there.
We got company while she made
And
the
bread,
coffee and the
homemade
people
bread.
settled down. Hitas, go get me a jar of apple pie filling or whatever. When she made the coffee, she rolled out her dough.
Yeah,
Throw
we'd entertain the guests, and she'd be in there, and she'd make a pie, sit
15 minutes,
and then she'd sit down.
she would sit down.
Wow.
She already had 2 pies in the oven, and
So by the time I got married, because I got married at 16, I already knew how to buy my own groceries, buy my own staples. I knew how to make tortillas, cook beans, I knew how to do all that. I already knew how to do all that. At 16, I thought I was so mature. I see 16-year-olds now, and I wonder, I was that age now.
you were young.
Very,
Well,
very
they
young.
were young,
And
and
let me interrupt. Like she says, I didn't do that. When they washed the wool from the mattresses, she didn't do anything.
I was spoiled.
She did not do a
I
thing.
never did anything.
She'd sit on the cupboard while Dora and I would be peeling potatoes,
Potatoes and-
beans, and frying pork chops or whatever. She'd be reading a book.
Yeah, we had a long cabinet, so I would sit on that end, and they would be cleaning and doing what I was reading. Yeah. Mother I never did housework. But when I got married, I think I listened enough to where I could make tamales and everything. Took me a while to organize myself to do it. But I was married, and my brother-in-law, Albert, was at home. He had a broken leg or something. So he was my dishwasher and my organizer so that we could make tamales and do what, we wanted to do. But it was just a beautiful life that we had with Mom.
So canning and all that came easy for me because I was doing it since what? I was 9
Yeah,
or maybe
9.
even younger. But the one jelly or jam that I never made it, was champis.
A rose hip.
I never made that because it was in the fall. We were in school. Grandma and Tia Paco and Mama Helen and them, they'd go pick the rosebud, the champis. By the time we got home from school, the jelly was made and in jars, and I never did. So
Yeah,
I
that
never did
champis.
that.
How do you say champes in English?
Rose hip.
Rose hips.
Rose hip.
Rose hip, yes.
Yeah.
So when they gave me a 5-gallon bucket of rose hips and stuff, what do I do with this? I don't know how to do it. Charlene said she had to clean hers and spread it out, and I go, Tia Kate, how do I make champis? I don't want to. That was my favorite jelly. Champis is my favorite, other than chuck cherry. So she told me how to do it. I had to borrow a blender. I had to borrow. Oh my
Well,
gosh!
Mary Ariana went to my house and I was cleaning the champis, and she goes, Kate, you don't do that. Well, that's the way Mother used to do. We used to take off the cabito.
Oh, yes.
And she said, just cook them and put them in the blender. And then strain them.
And then strain them, and
So
so
I
that's
found
what
that-
I did. So first time was what, like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
That was the first time I had ever did it. And that's my favorite jelly. Yes.
3 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was
That's
our
my
favorite
favorite-
jelly
that's
at
my
home was champa and choke cherry. That was the main peach and apple and that,
Yeah,
but
but champis was our
champis
favorite.
and choke
And then when
cherry.
it came to meat, of course we had pigs and chickens, but the lambs, we didn't have lamb.
We
So
had
my
mutton.
Tio Samuel, they had lambs, and they'd be out in the field. So when they'd hit the alfalfa, they would blow it up.
Yeah.
So we'd have to run to the neighbor's house and call my Tio Samuel, Tio, the borregas are esponjadas, they're bloated up. And he goes, tell Pina, he'd say in Spanish, tell her to go get as many as she wants. So Grandma had a special knife. She
Yeah.
had
Punched them.
No, she really did
Did.
have a special knife for meat, to butcher meat and stuff. And he'd tell her, go get as many as you want. We'd have to go and slit their throats, and Grandma would do it. And she only got what we needed. At the most, maybe 4.
Yeah.
She didn't overdo it. We just got what she knew she could can
Can.
and freeze, and that was it, So
No
that's how we
preachers.
got our lamb. Yes, Charlie?
Yeah, and
Okay, my mother used to say that Tio Miguel's wife, if he ever married her, her name was Lupe.
Lupe.
Mm-hmm.
And she died when
Giving
his son
birth.
was born, so Tio Miguel named his son Lupe.
Yes, because she died
She died.
after birth.
Yeah.
She died,
So
and
then Tio
Lupe,
Samuel and Tia Carmelita raised Lupe.
Lupe,
Yes.
Her
and
last name Young.
and then Mother got Joe because they separated the guy, and then Wile and them. Then Mom raised Joe, but then Wile came to live with us. And Joe went to California. Mother used to send him the food stamps, whatever, during the Depression. Well, he became a millionaire in California. So every year he would send us a big basket on the train from California to Fort Garden. Mother would always have to get Grandpa Meliton and them to go pick it up for us. But every year. And then they were in bankruptcy and he committed suicide.
Who was that?
My Joe, from my Tio Miguel, that's the one Mother raised. Joe Montoya. Yeah.
And he had another brother,
Well, it was Joe, Wile, Ezequiel,
Ezequiel.
yeah, and Lupe.
Okay. I
Yeah.
get you.
So
What
anyway,
was in the
Mother.
Christmas box?
Huh?
What was in the Christmas
Oh
box?
man, that's when we learned. We always had dates, figs, all these extra fruit, oranges, grapefruit. I mean, that basket could be that, and just full of fruit, 80, 100 pounds of fruit.
See, so
every
grandmother
year.
would go to the grocery store once a month to Taos. And there was no welfare. Only what my dad could send, what Dad's mother could send, that's what we lived off of. Like a homestead. I think that's what we grew up on, raising our own food and stuff. But Grandma once a month would go to Taos, and she'd ask us what we wanted to eat. She'd buy whatever we wanted to eat, something very different. We couldn't raise it. Dolores, the oldest granddaughter, would always ask for avocados. Philip was the next. He'd always ask for bananas. Diane, who's sitting back there, would always ask for lemons or pig's feet. She always asked for lemons or pig's feet. And me,
It was
being totally
tea.
different, I had to have tea. Well, they didn't drink tea. Everybody could drink coffee at the table. I was not going to drink coffee. I wanted tea. So Grandma went and bought me a teapot, and I still have it. I still have that teapot, and she bought me tea to make my own tea. And my youngest brother, my brother would always ask for sugared cereal.
Yeah.
He'd always ask for
Corn flakes, frosted flakes.
whatever, any cereal that had sugar in it, and she would treat us. But then she would bring us a grocery sack. At that time, there were the paper sacks, right? Almost full of pomegranates.
Pomegranates. We used to eat
And then
pomegranates.
she'd bring us
Dates.
figs and dates. Fruit that we never even heard of or had even tasted. And she let us have our fill of the dates and the figs. Eat as many as you want.
Okay,
And then
well-
whatever's left over, she would make candy.
Oh, yeah.
She would make homemade candy and dip them in chocolate and put coconut and nuts. And then she had a friend that would bring us gunny sacks
Okay, I
of
was gonna
pecans.
talk. Okay, mother.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Mother had a friend that came into our lives, Barney Moss. He used to build gap ends at top of the world. When mother got introduced to Barney, well, he started spending a lot of time with us, but that man taught us a lot. That man has to be in heaven. He used to get a Social Security and something else, then used to do our jobs. That man used to buy us the ribeye steaks. Once a month, you had to, if you wanted a whole one, you had to eat it. He would buy the cases of bananas. The bologna, the big bologna, remember? He brought enough that you ate enough. A box of candy bars, and you got what you were going to eat. You don't throw it because you're not getting. And that man taught us to read, taught us games. I mean, he spent his money on food. And mother used to say, this damn, because he used to get mad at him. Why doesn't he buy sugar, flour, you know what we need? And Barney used to say, that's your obligation, not mine.
So he'd ask each of us, what kind of candy do you like?
Yeah.
What kind of, so we all had our favorite candy. Okay, Barney's
once a
going to
month?
buy us, he'd buy the whole box.
24
Peanut
bars.
butter, whatever, peanut butter fingers. If I wanted peanut butter, it was a whole box.
Yeah.
It
But
was a whole
Dora-
box for all of us.
Dora was bottle milk.
So we, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Well,
How to drive
and-
his old truck.
yeah.
You, yes.
Taught him how to drive. So
You
he'd
know-
put them in this, Grandma had a buffet. So all the candies and that would be in there. And he'd tell us, if you're going to get one, you better eat it. If you get two, you better eat it. However many you get, you'll have to eat it. You have to eat it. So one time he bought a big box of bananas, a whole case of bananas. And Philip, our cousin Dan's back there, he sat there and he started peeling bananas. He started eating them, and he didn't let us get any. He wouldn't share with us. So Philip kept eating and eating and eating. Okay, so time went on. He didn't eat the whole box.
But
no,
he
he
ate.
didn't buy the whole box. He just bought a
But a
bag.
little bag.
And so Philip ate them all. So then Barney went to the store the next month. He went to the store, bought the whole case, and he put it by Philip. He goes, start eating. So
Eat as
Philip
much
thought
as
it was
you can.
funny, so he started peeling the bananas. He started eating. Then he didn't want to eat no more. And Barney kept telling him, those are yours, Philip. They're nobody else's, they're yours. Philip had bananas up there.
Wait.
The lesson was you share. Whatever
But-
good comes, you share.
But he got sick that night. He was sick. And Lloyd, another time we had fried chicken. And Lloyd was grabbing. And Barney he went and fried 3 and put them to Lloyd. Eat enough. So that next time you don't grab.
And we only had fried chicken on Sundays because it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to fry chicken, you know. So
We
we only
had to
had
pluck them and kill them and pluck them.
we only
And,
had
Yeah.
chicken.
It wasn't KFC, huh?
Oh, no,
heck
no.
no.
But as poor as we were, I didn't know we were poor till I got older. And
Well,
I didn't know the word
material.
dysfunctional family till we got older, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know.
You know-
it was just,
You grew up with nicknames. I was Serratona because I was blind. I was born with poor eyesight. La Icha was La Gorda. Laine La Pecosa. You know, we had nicknames. It didn't affect us mentally. Tu Serratona Tia Teorita. That was my mom's, for me to understand it was me. Well, if she would go, tú, tráeme agua tú. Nobody would move.
Get so mad
So,
about it.
tú se gatona, tú,
Yeah.
we all had nicknames.
She only called me Corina.
Corina. Yeah,
When
y
she
Eloy
was
también.
mad,
El
she was
Chippy, Prince
upset with
Albert.
me. She was upset with me. Corina!
Yeah.
And I knew. Once they called your name, you stood up and you were there. You
Yeah.
didn't wait to a second or third time
No.
for them to call. You called your name, you were there.
Yeah.
And-
My mom would say, Hitas, get up and do the dishes. Hitas. Well, it was Ines and Icha. And mother had to tell them bad words. As soon as mother cussed them, they got up. Then the rinse water was always to wash down the knobs on the cupboards and mop the floors. You know. It
But
was-
not for Kate.
I never. One time she told me, "Tu huevona, you make the tortillas today, you know." Well, I always had long nails and nail polish. And she looked at me and she go, "Oh no, you're gonna kill one of my hijitos with those puelas." Yeah. No, mother, I don't know why mother, I never did nothing.
I was just so thankful that she knew both English and Spanish.
Oh,
I was so
mother.
grateful for that. I
Mother
was so
had
grateful for
beautiful
that.
writing, beautiful.
Kate, what age did your mom live to?
68. 68. She was 68
Oh,
years
yeah,
old when she
68.
passed away.
She was a bad diabetic for a long time.
Like my brother says, she was both our father and mother.
Mother?
She was. She was a handyman, really. If a shovel broke and the handle broke on it, we didn't have money to go to the hardware store.
Thank God for
You know,
Melaquias.
but she'd find a branch or something. There was a
from
wood pile back there, and we'd get it, and she'd burn it. She'd burn I remember holding the stick on the fire, burning it, and then she was able to,
take up some.
form it to fit into the shovel, but we burned the wood to do that.
And-
And we make our own soap. We'd
Yeah,
make
oh,
our
that
own
was another
soap.
thing.
We
That-
make our own soap.
It was.
And I always,
stinky.
to this day, I tell my friends, Ruth and Lucy were my best friends in school. And I told Ruth, you know what, Ruth? You never complained about how I smelled.
Yeah.
Because that soap smells.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, it was fat from the pigs, whatever, with lejía.
That people didn't want,
And mother
lye,
used to
made with
boil
lye.
it stunk. But that was our soap. The laundry soap. Mother just,
But the girls never complained because when I smelled after I got married, I was buying Tide and whatever. I got married, right? Then I came home and I had to do laundry at grandma's, like, oh my gosh, that soap smells.
yeah, she used to put it in back aluminum, big,
Tubs.
what are they, tubs? That we used to use for dishwashing that. She used to put it in there. So it used to collect a brown liquid. So we would have to drain it. Then she would take it out. We had to use the hammer and that to cut it in small pieces. And then wipe it down and store it. And then we had la bailadora. It was a pot that had like a round bottom. And we used to put the soap in there with water and boil it. So that was our soap.
That was our soap. It would
Even to do our
liquefy the-
hair. Mother used to tell us, go get water from the ditch.
and wash your hair.
And she would wash her hair with a lye soap. It was lye soap. But that was, we didn't know about it.
You survived it.
Oh, hell, we survived the
Still
smell.
here?
Yeah,
Still
and
here?
then we were lucky. They put the beehives at home because there was a lot of clover. So anyway, every time the man came to pick up the honey and that, they would give us a comb with honey. Oh, I used to love, because mother used to put it to melt. And the smell of raw honey, I still wish I could get that smell again, because mother would make honey candies. Can you imagine mother making fudge, taffy? Your mom used to make taffy, covered candies covered with chocolate chips, whatever, or bars. And then she used to use the paraffin so that
For the wax.
For the wax, so they would come out shiny. Things that I never a cookbook, but God was good to us. That's number one. God was good. Because mother would say in Spanish, Jesucristo, don't let me ruin this because this is Majita's food. Everything she cooked and that she gave it unto God to help her so that we could eat
Yeah,
it.
we'd get up saying, we feel like eating Fritos. Well, we couldn't afford to go buy Fritos, right? So Grandma, she'd listen to us, you know. So she got up, she went in the kitchen and she started frying Fritos. She made Fritos for
Out
us.
of cornmeal from the commodities.
And then we started hearing about pizza, you know. Pizza this and pizza that.
We didn't even.
We didn't even know really what pizza was. She made us pizza in the oven. I mean, they were huge pizza. Whoa. We
Just tomato paste. She
Well,
would
she'd make the
water it
sauce.
down and oregano and whatever. And then the yellow cheese from the, we had meat. So the yellow cheese from the commodities. Man.
we had pizza.
We had pizza, we had fried rice, we had peanut butter and honey and cheese. That was our big snack. You know, and then Mother used to bake bread in the oven outside, the horno. Every year, the cows in the winter would come and scratch on the horno. So they would break it down. So here early in the spring, early in the summer, we had to rebuild the horno because Mother used to bake bread in there, the big loaves. You know, it was just so beautiful.
Well, in the
Now,
fall, the hornos, you know those hornos?
for the chicos.
Yeah, for the chicos, I don't know how many bushels of chicos we throw into that horno because it was a big horno.
horno.
It's a big horno. And I remember getting up to go to school and we had to get the bus, right? So we'd go to the horno, get an ear of corn, and we'd unwrap it and we'd get on the bus and we'd eat it. My primo Carlos, he was the bus driver. He never told us not to eat on the bus. Oh, but I'm sure everybody else in the bus wanted one because we'd eat our chicos on the bus.
And Inez, my sister, if we had chicos, she was up in the dark opening the horno. She would have to be the first one to eat chicos. Like me. Yeah, and she was the outside. Inez and Chona. After Dad, we had the cows, the pigs,
And
and then
Mama Helen.
well, Mama Helen, Mama Helen, Inez, and them. Loopy never went out. But they used to go break the ice in the morning to feed get the water for the pigs and milk the cows. I mean, do you think,
There was no
how
men
did
around.
Mother have time for herself?
There was no men around.
No men. The
But I'm
girls.
wondering how she had time to do stuff when you wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't even try. I think now, how come I didn't try to clean the floor, mop the floor or something? It
I
wasn't my,
guess so.
yeah. I had my nails done and
She did not have.
I didn't help at all.
So even to this day, I make tortillas, but I can't make them round. I make maps. But if there was people at the house and it was my turn to make tortillas, I'd get a plate. That's what I do because there was people at the table. They were visiting with Grandma, and I had to make. I'd get a plate and I'd cut them and I'd make them. But otherwise, even to this day, I still make them. They're good, but I don't.
Well,
make
that's
them
what
round.
counts.
Yeah, my grandma Tana lived in Sahuache, my mom's mom, which she didn't raise, but she lived in Sahuache. Anyway, we would go visit her once in a long time. Well, there was this Swartz, the lady and the man. They were the pastors of a church there in Walsenburg. Anyway, she was crippled. She fell and hit her tailbone, whatever. She was crippled. They used to drive down from Sahuache just to come and have lunch at Mom's and then drive back.
Wow.
Those pastors, and then sometimes they brought Grandma Tana, but they would drive sorts and preach to my mom, whatever. But they would drive from Sahuache just to come and eat my mom's pies and stuff.
Well, even the Baptist minister in Questa was always visiting Grandma.
Oh, yeah.
They were always.
She
pastors were
believed in
always
God, and everybody could tell her, talk about God. Mother never went to church except for Holy Week.
Oh, she sent us to church.
We had to go.
We had to go
Yeah,
to church.
we had to get our first Holy Communion and everything because Mother used to say gitanos. All those ladies have men in the borregueros out picking up sheep. They had a job. And she goes, I don't have the hats and the coats and the clothes they have. So she won't go because she felt embarrassed about her dress code. But she would make sure we had a dress, a scarf for us to go to church. One dress for the whole year.
for the whole year.
Yeah, that was our church-going dress.
But she would send us to church.
Yeah.
The Sunday go to church dress.
We had to go to
It was
church.
on Saturdays. Our
No,
services
Saturday?
were on Saturdays.
Yeah.
We'd go to church
Catechism, and then we used to pray. Believe it. We used to go to bed and pray, and Mother Rosary and Rosie.
and then she'd sing songs. She
Yes.
loved to sing.
Anyway.
Well, I have a funny story, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My son, Charles, was the youngest of the grandsons. He got to meet Grandma. He was about 3 years old before when she passed away. But I'd read him stories, and we'd go visit Grandma, and he knew Grandma was on the couch. She was sick already, and she had to have insulin shots. So I'd give them to her. I don't know if you ever gave her shots, did you?
No.
She never did. She never did. So I'd give Grandma shots and stuff, and she had this little green case where she had the cotton balls, the cotton, and the syringes, to give her shots. Well, my youngest son knew. He'd opened the container. Can you imagine? I trusted my son. I don't know.
Why? He didn't
He
get
could have
the
taken
needles.
it off. There were real syringes, But he'd get it and he'd pretend to give Grandma her shot and he'd
pray?
pray for her. Oh, he'd pray for my grandma. He'd kneel down and pray for her. So one day I read him the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So he went to tell Grandma that he knew a new story. So he's kneeling down by the couch and he's telling her the story of Little Red Riding Hood. What big eyes you have, Grandma. The better to see you, my dear. And he'd open her eyes real big. What big ears you have, Grandma. And he'd pull her ears. What big teeth you have, Grandma. And he stopped. And he looks at it. He opens her mouth. He puts his hand in there and moves it. And Grandma's going, ah. And he puts his other hand. He opens her mouth. Mama, Grandma don't have teeth. My grandma never had. She never had teeth. She never had false teeth.
She was
She
like
never had false
on
teeth.
her-
So he had his whole hand in there, and she's going. and he sat down on that floor so sad.
Yeah.
Grandma did not have teeth.
But that Charles was maybe 2
was
years
3,
old
2
or
or 3,
whatever. He used to go kneel down by my mom and
Pray for her.
pray for her. And get up. Mother used to say, he's my ángel, mijito, it's going to get me well. Porque Charles,
She
Does
named
I
he
don't
pray
know.
for you now?
No.
No, I don't even. It's hard to see him. I don't even- and she named it. She gave him the nickname Dr. Cat.
Yeah.
That's what she named him, Dr. Cat, because
Yeah.
she said,
Kate, so speaking of medical care, you're the youngest, so you wouldn't know, but with all those children, I imagine they were all born in her bed in the house?
We were born at Mana Gregorita. She was a midwife in Cerro. Well, we were delivered in the house, but we were
Like kind of
delivered by a midwife. Yes, and we were all delivered there. I don't think nobody was born in Jaroso.
And did you go to the doctor for anything?
Okay, no, that was another thing.
No doctor.
Mother used to make alcanfor with whiskey and alcanfor.
camphor.
And then we had Mexican oil, the volcanico, the mentolate.
Yeah.
And Mother used to melt the sugar, add a lot of cloves to it, and cloves, and then we would break it up. That was our cough drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never went to the doctor.
Wow.
Earache, she would just put drops of Vicks and melted Vicks and
And aside from your sibling that died shortly after birth, was everyone else healthy into adulthood?
well, when the first one died at birth,
Yeah.
was the first one. Then the second one died during the influenza.
Influenza.
Okay,
She was 9 months old.
my mom's, where I was raised, that was like the hospital for influenza at that time. That Mother wasn't living there. It was a hospital they got for everybody that was getting influenza, because a lot of people in Cerro died from that. But that was a hospital for that, and my mom's baby died. She was between Ines and
She was
And
9
Lupi.
months. She was 9 months old.
yeah, she died during the influenza. But Mother talked about it, but I think there were so many of us, she didn't have time to really go back and relate to it. Yeah, but imagine raising
So
7.
she never took any of us to the doctor. There was no money for doctors. or
She had
dentists.
bad asthma.
I was asthmatic when I was born, so when I came to live with Grandma, she didn't know what to do with me. Winter, spring and fall were the worst times for me. My asthma would kick in the spring. My asthma would kick in the fall. It was bad. It was horrible. The first snow would come and I'd start feeling better, But Grandma didn't know what to do with me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't. Oh, it was.
I remember
horrible.
Mom on a chair with her covered in a quilt, sitting with her all night because she couldn't breathe.
But we didn't know what it was. I mean, she didn't.
And
know
there
what
was
it
no money to go to say, well, take her to the doctor. We didn't have a vehicle. We had to depend on Grandma
Somebody
and
else,
her
on Grandpa.
half-brothers to take care of us.
So we never went to the
Yeah.
dentist or the doctors
And-
until, well, I was in school,
Yeah.
and you know how the principals are like almost hierarchy of the schools, you know. One of the teachers, Mr. Martinez, handed me a note. He goes, go take this to the principal. Like, oh my gosh. So I walked to the principal's office. I handed him the note. He was a tall man, Mr. Segura. He was a tall man. And I walked in and he closes the door to his office and I go, oh, I'm going to get a beating. He's going to hit me. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm going to get spanked by the principal. He said, sit on that chair. And I sat on the chair and he closed the door and goes, look at that wall. And I did. What do you see? Nothing. I don't see anything. You don't see anything. How about at the top? I don't see anything. I needed glasses. I did not know it. So he goes, he wrote a note. Take this chair, Grandma. They were so stern. So I went home and we lived next door to the school. So I mean, I just had to cross the fence, give the note to my grandma. She goes, oh, Hita. Well, I couldn't see. I needed glasses. So I think my dad sent money and they took me to go for an eye exam and
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I wore glasses since when I started school. And I've been poor eyesight since I was born. I mean, I was having a hard time at school because I couldn't see the board. Well, I would get up and go get close finding the
Just
teacher.
whenever you start driving, move over.
Get out of the way.
Move out of Kate's way.
big way.
Better now.
Yeah.
Right, Kate?
Or now with my contacts, the implants, lens, I'm doing a lot better.
But it was a good life growing up with Grandma. She really let us be kids. I mean, she really did. Chores weren't a punishment. As soon as we got done, we could go play all day.
And then-
Up the mountain, go to the neighbors and make messes with the other kids there and come home. It was fun. Yes,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Corinne, tell our group over here about your brother Lloyd, about his military life.
Oh,
Oh, well, yeah, there was no father figure in our family or
My
anything, so
mom.
he got married, then got divorced, and he joined the military, and he was, I can't remember what rank he was, but he was pretty high in the military. He did secret stuff. I don't know what I can say, you know, but he put in 28 years in the military. Did
he
he?
was in Iraq,
This is
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
He was
He
in
did
Iraq.
a year,
and,
a tour in Iraq, yeah,
yeah.
he was.
And my husband
Well,
would.
he first started off with the Air Force, being an airborne ranger or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
And he switched over to the Army.
You know, for not having a father figure, Mother did a great job with us.
Yeah, he was
All of
young.
us, my oldest sister, Minora, she's on the high class. She's on the reach. She's paying $6,000 a month for assistant living. And she has enough money till she's 110. So, you know, all of us succeeded in life, you know. Yeah, and Minora has a stuttering problem, but she married Jack Hauser, and she lived in Japan for 8 years with a maid and everything. We all did excellent for not getting an education, for not being able to.
But we couldn't afford it.
We couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford shoes. How in the heck was I going to go to college?
The black and white shoes of Cerro.
Yeah, I didn't even have a suitcase to move on. You know, it's just so much that Mother did that
But it was fun. It was fun.
she was building a chicken coop. So anyway, she did a little foundation with cement and that. And the men in Cerro would stop. ¿Qué estás haciendo? You know, what are you doing?
You should do it this way or
Oh,
that
yeah.
way, yeah.
Why didn't you do it this way? Why didn't you do it this way? And they used to leave. Mother was already sick with diabetic. They used to leave, and Mother used to say, they come to tell me how to do it, but they don't offer to say, I will help you.
Yeah.
Man, that chicken coop lasted for years and years on a little foundation, Mother, because she made it to where it was easy to clean.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
With
Dad
a
and
scarf
Corinne,
and everything. We're cleaning the chicken coop. Dad's
like on
back
the
there.
weekends, they had to clean the chicken
We
coop.
did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they
Well, one thing we're learning today is Kate was very spoiled.
And you know,
Tim.
Hey, Kate, I remember a couple years ago, I was talking with you and Jeannie, and you mentioned something about swimming in the ditch.
yes.
At after a certain time. Can you talk
Okay,
about that a
well,
little bit?
during the time that Mother used to dig the hole by our water gate, what is it?
Water
Yeah.
gate.
She used to, when the water went down in the winter that she could take up mud, she would take up mud so we could swim there.
That's our watering.
So, but then the mardoyomo, the ditch rider, would come around because we weren't supposed to, because it was drinking water for the community. So anyway, we would run and hide if he came around. Well, we were in the water, and Nietzsche, my other sister, we were swimming. Just our panties. Mother used to make us homemade panties with the flour sacks. Anyway, he came around and we screamed, there's Manoco Propio, and Nietzsche ran and got into the horno. Yeah, she was wet. She came out, was black. Without oil, when it's wet like that, you can't wash it down. I don't know how many days. But yeah, the ditch rider, people use that water to drink. But Mother used to make sure we had a swimming pool.
My question was that there was some kind of a saint's day or something that you weren't allowed to swim
El día de San Isidro.
before that?
Yeah, before that. Que era para San Isidro, huh? Yeah, before that you couldn't get in the water because the saints, you could get sick. So you had to wait after June something, San Isidro. Because we used to take him from the Catholic Church and carry him way to Mana Beatrices and eat there and then bring him back, how Charlene. Yeah, San Isidro's Day. Then we could take, get in
in
the
the ditch.
Well, that was already warm enough for two to be able to swim.
And he's the same to take care of all the fields for programs.
Yes, we used to write that saying to be sure to take care of the water, the fields for the planting. That was a Catholic tradition that we had for years. That was the only time that I would eat in somebody else's house. Mother never let us eat anywhere.
Wow.
I used to love to go up there. And all they had was macaroni with tomatoes. But I thought it was a treat, man.
She wouldn't let us. That was one thing. We couldn't have a sleepover. We could go play outside all day. We could not eat there or sleep there. But I remember going to Elcira's. I don't know how to pronounce Mary Jane and
Mary Jane.
Del. I'd go and I'd play with Elcira. She was her name, and they'd be frying papas on a big, huge cast iron skillet. Oh, I could smell those. And I wasn't hungry. We used to fry potatoes too, but just those potatoes. Oh, they were so good. And I'd wait and then they'd invite us in, and I knew in the back of my mind I shouldn't, but I want to eat her potatoes.
Yeah.
Stay there.
I used to work washing dishes in the lunchroom just to eat peaches and biscuits that Mana Delfina would have, canned peaches. Well, later on I learned that Mama's peaches
Were better.
were better and her biscuits. And Mother used to get mad at me. Hita, you have, but there I used to go wash dishes.
Oh, she
Hita,
washed
or
dishes,
she
then
would
get
get mad.
peaches from a
And
can.
just to eat the peaches and that's all I would eat. My hands would be all prune type from washing dishes. Mama, no, finally I quit. Well, my mom's peaches were better. Yes, yes, so many things. I wish we could go back step by step and talk
And
how.
so, Kate, speaking of canned peaches, your mother grew so much stuff, and then you had the meat that she also prepared. What did she buy from the store? What were the few things that she couldn't make herself?
Sugar.
Flour.
No, sugar, flour. We used to have a coffee, sugar, flour, baking powder, baking soda. What else, Dan?
Maybe
Black and white shoes.
Yeah, black and white, the polished, the
Salt,
white, and yeah.
But really, we grew all our vegetables. The fruit we didn't, but all
But-
our vegetables and chicken and the pork and the eggs and all that we had. But when it came to flour and then the
Sugar,
sugar, my
coffee.
dad would bring us 100-pound sacks of sugar from Mexico, raw sugar.
When they were
When we were growing up.
Yeah, when we had it, that's what we used to buy at Bill Gators
The sugar
or Carlos. The
And
sugar
where'd you get your tennis shoes?
at Mano
at
Carlos.
the store.
Oh yeah, as soon as you started flipping that bottom sole,
But there was a lot
that
of
you couldn't put the cardboards in there to be able
But there was
to.
a lot of hand-me-downs, even from the neighbors. There was a lot of hand-me-downs. So
Yeah,
I grew up
but
with
really the
hand-me-downs.
shoes you lived on. I didn't live on
She
any
did.
downs.
I did.
lived with white
I did. I did.
white blackened shoes.
Tell him who Mr. Carlos Martinez was.
Oh, Carlos Martinez was our bus driver, a school bus driver, and he had the little store. So anyway, that he used to drive a little bus, huh? And he, you have to appreciate in life. He helped us because mother would take out food on credit. But anyway, he was our bus driver, and mother was terrible. She used to call him Boca Raton. So,
He had his mouth shaped like a mouse.
yeah.
Like a mouse.
Anyway, when they had the well up there, where the water would come, so mother, whatever, they took pictures of him letting the cows drink from
The
there.
well.
So they took him to court because he couldn't use that water. Anyway, they took him to court, and mother, they had pictures of him where he was not. And anyway, mother was the lawyer, I don't know what, but anyway, Boca Raton, you did. We had the pictures where you were.
She's calling him names even on court.
Even in court. And he was good to us. Yeah. Melaquias, we always had a bill with Melaquias.
Yes, yeah.
That's where we got like our paneling and all that.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
That
Cuesta
was the
lumber.
hardware, yes. And then Mano David Martinez and Max Ortega used to be the ones to make sure mother cut her wheat and everything in time. Because Grandpa, a lot of times, they had a lot of fields. Their combine was broken or something. And Max Ortega, mother used to say, hit us, because we used to pray for Max and Tessie. Mother used to tell us, never forget that lady was one of the ladies that never got jealous of me for him going to help mother. Well, mother would have them digging the linderos.
Yeah.
And he saw him. No, he came for the ditcher and went and, Pina, it's a lot for them to dig. Well, they were young. They could do it.
We were digging it. She wasn't.
I would go and help in the garden. I would sit on the 5-gallon cans that they used to carry water to, and sit there and read. I was a good reader. My English is very poor, but that's my fault to you.
So what did grandma, was grandma's barley or wheat? What did she raise?
Wheat.
Well,
Wheat.
Dan and I, that was our swimming pool. The day that they would bring in the grain, Tia Aine was the one driving the truck, and the Columbine would throw the wheat in the. Anyway, she'd shovel it into the granary because we had
Yeah,
a granary.
Joanne Perrin and
Well,
them.
Dan and I didn't help with the granary, but we'd swim in the granary.
They used to get in the grain.
And we'd be swimming. That's our swimming pool. All the mice would be jumping all over us. And I would be swimming. And it's amazing we didn't sink to the bottom and not breathe, right? But we were swimming and the mice were jumping. We didn't care. We were swimming. And then we get out of there. We had to go take a bath really quick because it was all.
It was
But that was
burning.
our swimming pool.
Wow.
That was our swimming pool.
Yeah, it was part of, after we had the water hose outside, it was easy for us to rinse ourselves outside. It was just beautiful. Then we thought it wasn't that good, but now that we're old and grown up, man, we had a beautiful life with Mom.
There was one word as kids, there was 5 of us. There was one word we never used, and that was I'm bored.
Bored.
Oh gosh.
And now everybody, I'm bored.
We never used that word.
They put you to work right away if you did?
Yeah. And then in the winter, Mother, we used to embroider and do quilts. We all had our square to embroider and everything, then she would sew it together. Because we weren't allowed to go anywhere. And that's when we used to sit down and clean the pinon for her to make candy. So we used to sit for hours. And then Barney, our lifesaver, he used to come from Oklahoma, stop in Portales, and bring us pecans, oranges, and tiny little peanuts. you know, the little ones. Then he used to sit by the stove and roast them. Then we used to sit down and peel the peanuts so we could fill the container so we could just eat
But
it.
these were 100 pounds.
Yes.
He'd bring us pecans and all
Pecans, 2 gunny sacks in back of an old Nash car. What did he have?
that. Whatever car it was.
And oranges, pecans, and peanuts. He used
Wow.
to come in with the back seat.
And then he'd come in the summer and bring us almost a truckload of watermelons.
Yes, watermelons. That man
Watermelons.
was a king.
And because of him, I love reading.
Yeah.
I love reading because of that man.
He made
He
us
was always reading.
always. That man read. And then aggravation. We had the aggravation game. He made the board with the marbles. Okay,
When, what were you talking about?
Barney.
Barney, when he passed away, you never knew when.
We
or where.
never found out. It was years after he left from home, and he had gotten a stroke, but still came back to visit because he lived in Sulphur, Oklahoma. He used to go back with his son. Anyway, he died, and we didn't hear. Finally, Mama Hallidan's mom and them got into checking with the status and all that. We found out that he had died in Sulphur, Oklahoma. But after he left, when he came, he brought Mother's pliers and hammers and all the little
kinds of
tools she
tools.
needed. And he left, because he would come like October, and then leave back in March or April. So he left, never saw him again, never heard from him. But his son and the wife and the 2 kids used to come on vacation to the house. So, Barney was a cook in the service. So he used to get up and fix them a big breakfast and that, so they could go and tour and have their little snack. By the time they got back, Barney had a big dinner for them. So, it was a good vacation for them. So they used to come and stay at the house.
Wow.
How do you think that they got connected with your mom and
Yeah.
your family?
Okay, Barney got connected through a family from Mexico that was working on top of the world. Mother, I don't know, how she met that Maria and her husband, and then they worked with Barney. So they brought him to the house to introduce him to my mom.
She would also take in laundry.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She would also take in laundry.
And to get extra money. So then Barney started, and then he wouldn't stay at the house. And then one evening, my brother Luis came from Arizona, and he had big steaks and everything, and a blizzard came in. So Barney got up and said, I have to leave, the storm. And my brother goes, where do you think you're going, Mr. Barney? And Barney said, I have to go home, the storm. Luis got up and took his jacket off and said, you're not going nowhere. You're staying. Because we had the little room that had twin beds. So Luis said, you and I sleep in that room. He refused a little bit, but it was blizzard. And then we used to get the blizzard. So from there on, man, we were the luckiest. Then he would spend weekends with us. He would come
But
and
he was
stay
the one,
with-
once a month he'd go and buy us, she said steaks. There were T-bone steaks for
Yes.
each of us. How many of us were in the house? Like 10 of
10?
us? And he'd buy each of us. And he'd get up and he'd fry the steaks for us. But then during Lent,
Yeah.
wasn't it? He wasn't Catholic. I don't know what he was. He'd get up early in the morning and we're still in bed and he'd make salmon patties.
You could smell the onion, wake up to onion smell but girls, he never went in the bedroom. Girls, get up, breakfast ready. Fried salmon patties and white gravy and biscuits. And Lupi and I used to go, viejo so-and-so, but we used to get up.
So
we used to
when I
eat it.
came at 4, he was already there, so
Yeah.
I thought he was Grandpa. I didn't know. I didn't know any different, right? Well, I got married, and a few years after I was married, my husband asks me at that time, so whatever happened to your grandma's boyfriend? Oh, them were fighting words. Fighting words like, what do you mean my grandma's boyfriend? She never had a boyfriend. How dare you? Well, who was Barney? And I went, oh. So as I was, I go, I don't know. He left, passed away. I never considered him my grandma's boyfriend.
Paco, one of my sisters. Daddy Barney.
Yeah,
Daddy Barney.
we just called him Barney. We never
to
said
us.
Grandpa. We just said Barney. Barney.
To us, he was like our protector, not my mom's. Mom used to get in a fight. Get out of here, and you better go, because he had his own place. Barney, this is not Mom's house. It's ours. You don't have to go nowhere. Oh, so he used to sit down and cry. Then he used to chew tobacco.
Oh no. Yes.
God, we used to go with him on his little green car to Taos. Well, he would be spitting out the window the tobacco. And us girls, we hated it. But we loved to go to the store with him because we could do it.
And I started chewing tobacco because of him, but he had the cake. It was in the skulls and the cake where you had to bite it off. I loved it. Never swallowed it, but we would chew it to see how far we could spit.
It was times that you think now, kids have never experienced what we experience as poor, and not a dad, nobody to slap you, nobody to.
Yeah. She was both dad and.
Tell them about the fishing trips down the Rio Grande.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay,
We used
me.
to-
Well, Grandma never had
Well,
garlic.
it's my speech. Damn it. That's why we say don't let Corinne talk.
You asked me. You didn't
But I
ask me a
did
second.
second, so we'll take over.
You didn't ask me, so I'm here.
Damn it. We tell her. One day we got together and they were asking. She
I
asked.
opened the door.
Why do you think, what's wrong with me that, you don't like Stephanie, my daughter, and Vilma? You talk too much.
Yeah.
And everything. Then she goes to Gidget. What do I do, Gidget, that you don't like? You talk too much. So
I
now.
didn't think I did, but
Yeah.
anyway. Now,
Anyway, tell them about her.
Barney would take us fishing. And
To
it
the
was
Rio
just a
Grande.
branch, the line, the fishing line, a sinker, and a hook. That's all it was. So we'd go down the trail, and he'd stand us. You're going to stand here, 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 here. And whatever fish you caught, you had to clean, right? And every time we went fishing, well, I had a certain spot. That's where he would put me. So we'd fish and everything.
The same
I
trail.
didn't know the smell. Well, the smell of the river, cleaning the fish, and the dumb bush that was by me. Every time we went fishing, there was this bush by me, and I didn't like the smell. Later on, when I got married and we started eating Mexican food, I didn't even know what Mexican food was. I got some salsa, and I took the bite of it. Cilantro. Oh, no wonder I don't like it, because that bush was wild by me. So the smell of cilantro, fish, and the river, that combination's
But
horrible.
even carp, socks, what do you call them? The carps, whatever. Yeah, Barney used to bring them and put them in cheesecloth. Take out the skin and take off the
bones.
picas,
The scales,
the
yeah.
bones,
Scale.
and then fry them. Well, Mother wouldn't eat them because it was boquinete.
Yeah.
But we would eat it because we didn't know any
Suckers, weren't
better.
they
Well,
called
it's
suckers?
fish that is out of...
Suckers. But they were good. They're suckers, yeah.
Yeah, the suckers. We used to eat those. Yeah.
Boquinetes.
Looking at this.
The boquinetes, yeah, Mother wouldn't eat them. But Barney, that was a special treat for us. So,
So which trail did you take to go to the river?
don't ask me.
Okay, you know
Wanna
where
go?
the dump is now? Where the dump, you just go straight on that road, and then there's a trail going
there's
down,
a
and,
trail right there.
and it used to be just straight. Remember?
Yeah.
Charlene, just straight down. It wasn't even curved like that. Just straight down. That's where we'd go.
I just went a
Haul all
couple
our
of
stuff
times.
and-
I
This
was,
is where you're standing.
Access there.
Just
Yeah.
above Chiflo.
No,
No,
where the dump
right in
is. Cerro.
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 Yeah, but
No. You just go straight from where the
Yeah,
dump
but
is.
Chiflo is the one that the
next
first
one.
small one there
No,
to the left.
That's
You
Sheep's
know?
No, it's not Sheep's Crossing.
no,
It's not Sheep's
before.
Crossing and Chiflo. It's a different route.
Okay.
Not
And it was
that
just
route.
through
That
the,
way.
Anyway,
no.
and that's
it
where
was
we would go. That
That
all
was
fish,
Barney's
Dan, all of
favorite,
us.
yeah.
That's where we'd go.
Diane, Philip, and Lloyd and Corinne.
And Dora.
Dora and
All
Philip,
five
yeah.
of us.
Huh? They would get ready. That's the only time I saw my mom with jeans when she would go fishing.
She never wore jeans. All she wore was a dress, an
And an
apron,
apron.
and nylons.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So
always.
did you have a pressure cooker back then?
Oh,
Is that
yes,
what
we
you
did.
used to- The big ones.
The
big
big
ones.
ones, the canning, Mother had 2 or 3 of them. And she had a little shed in the back with a canopy. And she had a wood stove there. Well, during the canning time, That's where we used to build a good fire and have the presto cookers out there, because the gas stove you could only fit one. So we would use the outside to can, and
One thing about your mother, your grandmother, she really ahead of her time. Seemed like, but one very smart woman.
very smart.
And she was into politics too. Don't get me wrong. She could go to PTA meetings and community meetings, and boy, she was very quiet, very quiet. And they would talk and everything. She'd let them talk, and then when it was her turn, I guess like me, she'd take over. She'd take over and she'd let 'em have
Charlene
it.
knew my mom real good. Yeah, Charlene knew my mom real good. And
Well, you'd say back then
Yeah.
politics didn't get involved, but politics did get involved. I don't want to go too deep into it, but grandmother raising so many kids on her own, she got a job at the school doing working in the lunchroom. She was the head cook in the lunchroom. Well, they found out that she wasn't a Democrat, and so they fired her.
Yeah.
then she got
Way
the-
back then, having all these kids, and the person that got the job, the lady that got job, had a husband.
Yeah. And then mother was hired to clean the old gym. There was a building back there, and the veterans used to make furniture. So, all the veterans that came back from the war, they would do. So mother was hired to clean the sawdust and clean it. Well, Cresciforo Gallegos
Mentioning names, I'm not
went
mentioning
and fired her too, to give a man that worked the job. Mother had bad luck. It was,
names. She still
but
stood her
she
ground.
still stood her ground. Huh?
Stood her ground.
She
She
stood
did.
her ground. Was a very strong, determined lady.
I have a question. Were you asked for, did they ask for your hand in marriage, being so many girls?
How did that?
No, we just took up and got married.
Hold on. I was.
Yeah,
asked.
she was the only
Because
one.
of all the girls, all her siblings, my aunts, none of them had a big wedding. I was
None
the
of 'em.
first granddaughter to get married and have a big wedding. So they did ask for my hand in marriage. We not only served the meal, the lunch,
We served
we
dinner.
served dinner.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I got married, I was the first one. So
Yeah. Well, it was Paco, my sister, Helen, me, and everybody pitching Lupi to make the wedding. So, and at that time, well, it was,
the bride didn't have a say so.
No.
I just told grandma I'm getting married. I didn't even know what date to pick. I just picked a date. They did all the planning. I didn't even know what was on the menu.
no,
But
when
you know
I
it's
got
gonna be good.
Yeah, of course, grandma fixing it. Of course, it's gonna be good.
When I got married, I was dating Randy, and anyway, mother was upset because I was supposed to go to college. I was
She
the
had
one,
paid.
I had graduated and typewriters and everything. Well, I decided to get married, so I packed my things. Randy picked me up. I didn't tell nobody. Look, we went, got married, no witnesses, no nothing. I got back and I was married.
I think grandma even paid a deposit for your school.
Yes,
She had
that part
already paid it
school
in
in
Denver.
Denver because the family lived there. And mother paid a deposit and everything, and I was in love.
Besides being spoiled at home, she had a wonderful life.
Oh,
Yes.
and then married, I had a good life.
Yes.
My husband was a home drinker, not closet. The best husband anybody could have. And not husband, because we used to fight, but the best father. Oh, Randy, everything was for the kids. He didn't sit on the table before to eat. He would wait till everybody served. Then he would serve. It was just, Randy, Stephanie was his favorite. Oh, Stephanie, he did everything for my hita. Well, I did everything for Daniel.
Right.
Anyway, that Stephanie, when Randy died, well, I give my hito money and everything. Stephanie came and said, Daniel, I know my mom gives you money. You just take money from my mom. And Daniel goes, well, you let your bucket die. I have my mom. You let her die. And she...
Tell us about the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, they got me the Kindle. So anyway, that Anastasio was at the house, and he was playing with my Kindle. Then they left to grandma's next door, and I couldn't get it to work. Anastasio, I called to grandma. Anastasio, what did you do to my Wi-Fi? Grandma, what Wi-Fi? He told me, I was upset. So he came in, Grandma, I don't know what you're talking about. My Wi-Fi, my Kindle, your Wi-Fi. What did you do to my Wi-Fi? And Anastasio has stuff on me.
Well,
And Tammy.
hang on a second. I'm going to have to take off because I promised my son I would play in church in Cerro.
Okay, well, go.
In Cerro tonight, yeah. So,
Yeah, because it's already.
yeah, on behalf of us here, thank you guys.
Yes.
You guys can stay longer, no problem. But thank you,
have to go.
and
Yes.
I'm glad you decided you could come and
Next time,
talk.
think
Well,
twice.
she took over.
Think
So
twice.
we have to take one that I do the talking.
Or like if you didn't talk.
Yeah, like if I didn't talk.
Well,
No.
just think twice when you ask me again.
When I got married, Corinne, I used to take her to my house because there was always drama at Mother's. Not drama, but
so many of us.
commotion. So I used to call Mom, I'm going to go for Corinne because we're going to go dancing for her to babysit. Oh, bueno, mijita, bueno, because I would pay her. $1.50, but anyway, because she used to go. No, that was the time she would spend with my sister-in-laws, Doris and Joyce. Oh, they used to go and stay,
games and
the
whatnot.
games and whatever. But that was the only getaway she had. 8 years old, they were making tortillas, they were making Spanish rice,
Then when the two younger girls came, Gidget and Grandma, then I was the
babysitter, the caretaker.
I took care of them.
She raised them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Think twice.
Michael.
Yes.
They'll say that'll be the last.
Yeah, I'll never invite them again. They talk too much.
That'll be the last.
Yeah. No, we and
Don't
there's
worry,
a
we'll
lot.
have you back sometime.
Yeah, there's a lot that we should write down about my mom, us growing up, because we skipped a lot. We skipped a lot,
Fun times.
Mother was the main person in the community. We had friends, gringos at that time. Well, they would pass and see a new car or something. ¿Qué gringos están aquí en La Pina? They would stop and, I don't know, Mother was just that type that brought in people.
Because we're on the main drag.
Yeah, so they would stop to ask questions or something. Well, Mother right away pie and coffee. So she should have lived in Pie Town.
Do you think that is why she was the pilot house for the Peace Corps? I was curious how do you think she got
I
connected
don't know
up
who
with
gave
that?
them our names. I don't know who gave them Grandma's name. Well, the volunteers for the Peace Corps were really trying to learn how to help the poor, and so Grandma had all these kids and stuff. So maybe that's why we became the pilot. Because there was no man.
And then another thing, Mother was good to the people. She would make sure they ate, they had their lunch, they had everything. There was a lady in Questa Padilla. She didn't even feed her daughter, the volunteer. And there was like 20 or some
That
Peace
came.
Corps.
And,
20 volunteers.
volunteers on the Peace Corps.
and
Was that
David.
before it was a state? Before New Mexico was?
That
No, it
was
was
when
right
Shriver,
That was when Sergeant. That was in the 60s.
Kennedy's
Well,
brother-in-law.
it started talking about it in the 60s. In 61 is when Peace Corps started. And then in 61, wait. I was 13 years old, 12 or 13, when David came to live with us.
Yeah, that's when Peace
Peace
Corps
That's
came
when
in.
it really came full
And
blast.
then-
So
yeah.
David and some other volunteers came, but I think David was the one that lasted the longest
Oh
in our
yeah, he
community.
stayed where he was so comfortable at home.
Yeah.
Him
And that
and
was
Dora used to
for them
fight.
to learn how to help the community and the poor people, so when they sent them out to the other countries,
I see.
Yeah.
so we were the
A
pilot.
pilot, I see.
Yes.
Yeah,
We were the
Mother,
pilot.
and they
And
used
a lot
to.
of people don't know that we were a pilot.
Yeah,
And
Mother
what were
was.
you reading all that time?
Well, Barney used to go to the secondhand store in Taos and get books. Perry Mason was my favorite one,
Grandma's too.
and Grandma's too. Oh, I used to love. And then Loopy. I would be reading, I wonder who killed who, and I'm trying to solve. Lupi, my sister, she didn't even know how to read, but she would get to the back pages. I would get home from school. Oh, I know who killed who, because I would, and I used to cry. I wanted to finish my book. Yeah,
And then
Barney
around
used
that
to-
time, the bookmobile came around,
Yes.
and we would go. So each of us could check out like 5 books each. So 5 of us kids going to check out books.
Diana was a big reader. Yeah. Philip wasn't. Dora was. Dora loved true story and romances.
Romance.
Yeah. Mary Santisteban used to supply her with the magazine. We couldn't afford it. Anyway, Philip, the other grandkid, he kept ordering records from RC whatever records through the mail. Anyway, they kept sending bills. You know, he owed this much, and and mother, well, she couldn't pay, so she got the envelope. Gone forever.
No, Philip writes on the envelope, has passed away.
Oh, yeah.
This person has passed away.
away.
And Grandma on the bottom put, gone forever.
Forever. They never send us another bill. And my mom gone forever. She was mad because Philip, we were getting all these albums. RC for the, Well, it was Philip. And mother was upset, so Philip had to quit. She wasn't going to pay the $70 for Gone Forever. Anyway, Barney was a man in our lives, our dad, our mentor. We used to go in, Barney, I need $1 for lunch. Okay. Barney, I need $1. Then at the end of the month, like the 20th of the month, okay, girls, I only have $20 left, so I can't give you dollars for school. So yeah, we knew. Well, the first of the month, we knew we could borrow again.
And since he chewed tobacco, he'd have a coffee can by where he sat to read books, and he'd spit in it, right? So then he'd pay us. Whoever's gonna throw the coffee can, 50 cents. Dan never did. My cousin never did. I will. I'd go out there and I'd dump it and rinse it, and I'd get my 50 cents.
50 cents is 50 cents.
That was a lot at that time. Yeah. With a quarter, you could buy a Coke, potato chips, gum, and a candy bar.
Yeah, 5 cents.
And we'd go up to the
Tanque.
The tanque, what do you call it? A reservoir, whatever. And we'd have a picnic with a quarter.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So 50 cents was a lot at that time.
Yeah. And then mother, we never really wanted candies or anything because we had everything.
Like now Christmas kids make a list of what they want for Christmas or their birthday.
We didn't even know.
We didn't even care if we got a gift or not. And if they did surprise us, it was
Okay, we'll see you. I'll keep in touch with you.
Paper dolls.
From
That was
the catalogs.
And that was, and we never asked for gifts. We didn't even expect any gifts.
We didn't know about gifts. We used to make the popcorn.
Yeah.
Thread the popcorn.
Chains.
And cut the snowflakes. And that was our Christmas tree. We couldn't put lights because we couldn't afford them. So we put construction paper. Yeah.
But it was fun. I mean, it was
Mother
like we sat
made
there like,
everything
oh, it's
special.
us, poor us. It never went through our mind. It was just too much fun. I mean,
Well, there was too many to bother with the other people. Like now, we can't gossip about people because we have all the drama in our own house. We had preacher, my dad. We had a psychic, my brother. We had doctors.
and one day my dad and my cousin, she's a minister, Dan. She just walked out. She used to be a minister. And I told my brother or my son, I said, oh, imagine a psychic and a minister under the same roof.
Yeah.
My dad and my cousin.
I hope you're not calling Ernest a psychic.
No, Ernest, my brother was.
that was
He
him.
practiced whatever. And, he goes to my house. I kept him for a while with me. And let me read your hand. I'll tell you about your life. Well, why can't you tell me that I don't know myself? I didn't let him. Psychic, he knew who I was and then. Why was I going to pay him? No, he was into it for a while, huh? Yeah, no, I was the one that, he used to come from Denver and stay with me. And so, no, he played tried to play psychic on me. but we didn't pay attention to him. Oh, one night Corinne and her daughter were at the house. Anyway, we were there standing with him, listening to him. And he goes, do you know that I went on my magic carpet to the furthest
Planet.
planet that there was. The scientists didn't even know about it, but he went there. Anyway, he got there. But then coming back, he came back backwards.
He came on reverse in the carpet.
Oh, man. Benita almost fainted.
My daughter almost died there. So when my dad passed away, right, the coffin's there, and they have the under coffin, whatever they call it, and everything. Vilma, my cousin, came. She goes, Corinne, go look what I put in the hole where your dad's gonna be buried. I go in the grave, and I go, what? So I walked over there. All my aunts were sitting there mourning for my dad, and I'm sitting in the back of my brother. So I get there. She threw a carpet.
His magic carpet.
I started laughing. They got mad at me. So I had to walk back there and tell my brother. And then guess what Vilma put in there? My dad's magic carpet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, we were out.
Is it still stuck in reverse?
Yeah. I think
I don't
he's
know.
still
No,
coming.
he's not here. So probably didn't work.
No, yeah. And then Itcha, he was telling us the men about the planets, and do you know what they're made of? And Itcha goes, well, I hope they're ice cream so we can He got mad. And Patsy was there.
Yeah, Patsy.
Oh, he was telling us if we knew what the planets were made of. He didn't even know himself. So, but he traveled there. Yeah. Oh, no, we had good memories, you know.
Sounds like
That's
it.
all that's left.
That's all that's left.
Yes. But you know,
Great
you think for
memories of
being
my-
raised by my mom.
Well, her name never went out on neon lights, but the memory of her, and that's not only it, as whatever I don't even know how to use that word, but anyway, they talked about us really bad and stuff and everything. But now, we say Pina, and even a lot of people that live out of town and live in Denver, California, wherever, they remember my grandma.
They remember grandma, her
the
food,
good,
her
everything. As bad as we were talked and as bad as they treated us, now we can go to funerals that we haven't seen people for ages, and they remember grandma. And they remember us. Well, which one were you? Was one of the little ones?
Well, they don't recognize me because I don't have the thick
glasses.
glasses. Since I was in
She always had thick
kindergarten,
glasses.
I had thick glasses. So, well, which one are you? Huh?
Your nail.
Oh, I had nails. I had long nails and pretty hands, believe me.
Well, since my grandma raised me, right, when my dad passed away and got buried, and people give you the condolences, you know. I'm sorry about your uncle. I'm sorry about. They didn't even know he was my dad. I said,
No,
he was my
'cause
dad.
mother raised-
No, he wasn't. I go, yes, he was.
Yeah.
I said, sorry about your uncle. You know,
Yeah,
they didn't know
because
he
they
was-
thought,
Yeah, I was raised by my grandma. So.
yeah, it was grandma and just grandma. And Ernest never looked back, you know, to say he would send money for him and that when mom was taking care. But he never came around like a real dad. At all. She got a stepmom. That's how come we got the kids. Because they had a stepmom and my brother and the stepmom would abuse them. So we used to go to the santuario in Chimayo and go and pray that God would put his hand so mother could get the kids. And God answered mother. Yeah. So that's why she says grandma's.
We were safe there. We felt safe.
Nobody was going to hit him.
At that
Nobody
age,
was.
you know, it was safe.
Oh yeah, they had a rough growing up. Good thing, mother. Mother used to say, "You play with fire, you get burned, you take." She didn't believe in abortion. She didn't believe on giving them away. Philip was given away to some cousins, and
Yeah,
mother
and she
found
went
out.
and-
She went and got
got
him. Goes no.
It's not going to happen.
So she was from divorce. Dan was from divorce. But then Philip, Dora. That was it.
Yeah, well, Philip, Vilma and them were the girls weren't married. So
Yeah, but Philip and Dora, when mother brought him in, they had him.
infants.
They were
babies.
single. Yeah,
They were babies.
they were. Yeah, their mother took over and sent them to Denver to work and support.
Yeah, Grandma would always tell us, if you don't want to go to school, we didn't have to. That was our choice. We didn't want to go to school. But you're not going to sit here
And do nothing.
and do nothing. And if you want to smoke, go get a job and and buy your own cigarettes, but you're not going to sit around the house if you don't want to work.
Or
So
you
it
don't
wasn't
wanna-
like, it wasn't like, oh, you can stay home, or no,
Don't
you're not
worry
gonna,
about
yeah.
it, he don't.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll make it somehow. You're gonna stay home. You're gonna have to get a job.
You have to get a job. She was working at what, 14 years
Yeah.
old in Red River, cleaning cabins. I was
Yeah, I think that's the
lucky.
first time when I went to work. I got my first paycheck. Whatever. That was the first time I went and bought my school clothes. You took me to Santa Fe. Remember?
Yes.
I bought my school clothes. Otherwise, it was all hand-me-downs.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever she wore, whatever the others, I was wearing their clothes since I was in high school and stuff. So.
The bras. My mother didn't have money to buy bras, so they had me downs. And me, I guess.
One size fits all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I wasn't
Yeah.
embarrassed. You know what I mean? I wasn't embarrassed going to school with my hand-me-downs. I never went to school like, oh.
And then the
I remember
summer.
my grandma's shoes and they were ugly.
Yeah.
I was never embarrassed
Heel.
till you get
Yeah.
older
And I
and you
never got
realize,
embarrassed.
oh.
I mean,
No.
they were my
No.
grandma's. I love my
And
grandma.
my mom used to make us panties from flour sacks for the summer. So those was our swimming suit. But, we could get in the ditch with our panties. But we had at least 4 or 5 pairs each, because each I was fatter. I was skinny. And I don't think Inez wore homemade panties. So our panties and our bonnet to go out to the garden matched. The same sock, the panties. Yeah, we had matching. Yeah, mother used to sew our bonnets for the summer. I never made use of mine, but
We might have to go back to those times, huh?
yeah, I wish we could go back to real life.
Cut
Real,
it? Is it cut?
yeah, she cut a long time ago.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Because I told her, well, you took over my
thank you, guys.
speech, so now
Sorry.
Thank you so much for coming.
You have listened to the stories. Vayan y digan a todos que vengan a escuchar las historias de nuestro país.
Perfect.